going to dig now a little bit deeper into Apple's earnings story. David Garrity joins us on set, principal at GVA Research. David, always glad to have you with us. We spoke with Gene Munster earlier from Piper Jaffray, and he said he felt like this quarter's results for Apple was really an iPhone story, but you disagree slightly.
I would say the actual numbers in terms of unit shipped were greater in terms of Mac sales, and if you actually look at the price per unit on a Mac versus what you get on an iPhone, obviously there's bigger bang to the buck, not just to the top, but also to the bottom line. And the other thing to take away is that Mac sales were actually stronger outside the U.S. than they were domestically, up about 42% year over year. Consider also at the same time, though, that from the iPhone perspective, Apple is expanding its geographic footprint, going from 18 countries to 80 by the end of the year. And typically, iPhone sales have had a positive pull-through effect for Mac hardware. But Mac obviously seems to be doing well already. Obviously, the prospect is for more.
So how does this set them up then for the all-important holiday shopping season?
With very, very good momentum. Inventories were quite low. They really didn't build during the course of the quarter. The one thing the company did say was that air freight costs were going to be up in the December quarter because they have product that they want to move into the channel. Obviously, this raises the question as to whether the tablet, which was discussed previously, is actually going to be part of this introduction. I would say, given all the rage going on around book readers, Kindles, etc., it wouldn't be surprising to see Apple coming out with a product sooner rather than later.
So maybe they have even a surprise product.
Oh, Apple's always full of surprises. We've learned that.
All right. Leadership, Monica Bertrand just touched on it a little bit here. Steve Jobs obviously out of the mix for part of this year, but it seems like Mr. Cook is sort of humming along. What do you feel like is the big picture takeaway story for Apple's leadership? I
think in terms of leadership, it's always been a matter that over time, Steve Jobs is going to probably pull back more into a chairman type role, really the guardian of the company's strategy. Tim Cook featured very prominently on last night's conference call, really fielded most of the questions coming from the analysts, and I think that that's a signal from the company that is a transition which would be underway. Can't say exactly how soon it's fully affected, but clearly the signs are there.
David, how do you feel about the stock price right now? It looks like it's going to hit a new record when it opens up this morning.
After hours, it had already gotten there. We would say that if you look in the context of recoveries in the past, it hasn't been unusual to see growth companies, and Apple's a growth name, traded about on a PE multiple about 2 times their growth rate. I would argue that even before you do the conversion in terms of how they change the accounting around the iPhone sales, even on the GAAP numbers as they are right now, the stock could be somewhere 225, 250 over the next 12 months and still be reasonably valued.
So in your view, it's still a screaming buy?
We still think it's a solid value. It's attractive. We would be constructive on Apple, yes.
All right, David. Thanks so much. David Garrity, principal at GVA Research. Thanks for coming in.